thank you all for convening for the College of Fine and Applied Arts' first State of the College address. It's my honor and my privilege to welcome each and every one of you to this event. You know, this marks the beginning of my second year as dean of the college, and when I arrived last year, we were in the process of moving out of a pandemic stage and into an endemic stage for COVID-19. But we were still mired by a lot of the COVID protocols. So it's so nice to see you all here today in person and for us to be together, where we can resume and reclaim a sense of normalcy. Now, if you're like me, the COVID years simultaneously felt like dog years and a blur. And as we continue to remove masks and relax some of our social distancing mandates, there's a comfort in feeling like we're going back to a familiar place together. But it's important for us as a community to ensure that as we go back, we leave behind the systems that served some students better than others, that disenfranchised some members of our community while simultaneously enfranchising other members of our community. You know, we're all so fortunate to be in this profession at this particular time, and why, you might ask? Well, there's no doubt that COVID absolutely disrupted higher education. And what that means for us is that together we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rebuild a system and to do so with intentionality, to make an imperfect system more just, more relevant, and more accessible. I can't think of a group of faculty and staff better equipped anywhere else at this university to lead in this arena than the one that's gathered right here today. We are a college comprised of scholars and practitioners, makers and doers, movers and shakers, dreamers and builders. We maintain a unilateral and uncompromising commitment to excellence, sustainability, advocacy, innovation, and inclusion, and we demonstrate this commitment daily. And we do that by honoring the varied lived experiences of every single member of our college community. And that's the commitment. That's the actions that underpin my steadfast belief that we not only have the skills, but the abilities to intentionally create inclusive spaces where all are welcome, where all are supported, and where all have the ability to thrive. We are and we will continue to be the college that honors truths and amplifies voices that emanate from all places, including the margins. This academic year, as we think of ways to rebuild higher education and our community and our college, I pledge to identify and amass the resources that you need for us to persevere and for us to continue to make a difference. And I'm grateful to have a leadership team equally dedicated to these tenets. A very talented team and, quite frankly, a dream team of individuals deeply committed to supporting each of you as we rebuild and we continue to create a comprehensive post-COVID college together. A bold, sustainable, globally situated, anti-racist, and inclusive college. A place where together we will continue to do differently. Now, you've heard me say this before, but it does no harm to mention it here again today, that I'm radically transparent, that I believe information is meant to be shared and never meant to be weaponized. And in the past year, I hope that I've shown you that I've walked the talk to show my radical transparency. I've hosted Donuts with the Dean, I've hosted deep dives with the deans, critical discussions where any faculty and staff member can bring up a topic, and I come to the meetings with no notes and no agenda, and we discuss anything that you all find relevant. I also have made sure that all of the chairs, Council of Chairs meetings, and all of the Dean's Office meetings, agendas and minutes are online and accessible to every member of our community. But I also hope that in addition to witnessing radical transparency, that you've seen 3 other leadership traits, because what I hope to do in the next academic year is to continue to grow in these 3 areas. The first is my unwavering commitment to collaboration over competition. You see, collaboration over competition, I believe in a college like ours with disparate disciplines, is absolutely the way forward for us. Collaboration shows us and allows us to embrace, showcase, and ultimately decode complexity. Collaboration allows us to combine our strengths, close the gaps between disciplines, and answer universal questions. And I believe our college's first Connect event that we held in April of this year demonstrated the unique ways that we collaborate with our community and the unique ways that we collaborate with each other. I also hope that you will see an unyielding promotion of empowerment through shared governance. I make it a point that all college-level committees contain a representative from every single department in our college. And in addition, I've taken it upon myself in the past year to meet with all department administrators. I met separately with program directors. I met separately with assistant chairs. I meet regularly with the department chairs, and I do this to make sure that every constituent community member in our college has an opportunity to participate in the decisions that might impact their ability to demonstrate their best work. I have a deep commitment to that, and that commitment will continue as we go into this new academic year together. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, is I will continue to maintain a staunch belief in the moral imperative to stand up for what is right. And I will continue to always speak truth to power. That's something that you can always count on from me as your leader. And by the way, speaking of leadership, it's easy to lead a college like this because you make me look good. So if you'll join me, I'd like to take a look back at some of the things and some of the ways that you have shown up and that you have shown out as representatives of the College of Fine and Applied Arts. I'll start with something that happened on April 23rd. On April 23rd, the Apparel Design and Merchandising Department hosted its showcase event. This community exhibition of student talent and creations was simply unforgettable. The audience was comprised of high-level donors, a who's who of university and community leadership, as well as parents and well-wishers for our students. A personal highlight of the event for me was participating in the Design with the Dean Challenge, where a student was competitively selected to design and create an ensemble for me. And I requested a look that first paid homage to my Ghanaian heritage, but second, really brought out my inner supervillain. And I think junior ADM student Andre Edwards nailed it. And what I'd like to do now is give a shout out to Dr. Anthony Wilson. And Dr. Wilson, if you're in the building, will you stand? Dr. Wilson single-handedly planned and executed this event for our college, so thank you, Dr. Wilson. Our friends in interior design were awarded an $83,000 Angelo Dongia Foundation grant. They used the funds to create the innovative S4 Lab, a series of 4 interrelated labs that provides majors with hands-on, problem-based learning experiences through the use of leading industry technology. Furniture design student Landon Lane III won the 2021 Pinnacle Award for his Delancey lounge chair, pictured here with his 2 adorable sons. The Pinnacle Awards are the furniture industry's highest honor, recognizing student furniture designers who envision and create the designs that ultimately become the most sought-after home furnishings around the world. In May, Wanted Design hosted its annual Design Schools workshop in New York City. Students from around the globe worked together to explore and create designs that both embodied and reflected the theme, New Rituals, Reconnecting, Revitalizing, and Refocusing through Ceremony and Artifact. The international workshop was led by our very own applied design professor, Donald Corey, and assistant chair of the department, Michael Rawl. Our applied student design student, Oliver Duncan, was part of the winning team. And if Michael and Donald are in the audience, will you please stand? I'd like to give you a special thanks. And thank you both, not only for your service to the department, the college, and the university, but for your dedication to your craft and the profession. Thank you so much. Here you're going to see your colleague, Professor Jody Servan, who met with Iceland's Prime Minister, Katrín Jakobsdóttir. She's pictured in the center. The Prime Minister and other politicians participated in the My Time is Valuable project led by Professor Servan that highlighted the need for equity among women, girls, and non-binary persons. Professor Lisa Stinson's honors course worked alongside the Beacon Butcher Bar to curate bespoke tableware designed to highlight a chef-inspired meal that celebrated Appalachian heritage and the Boone community. A separate and uniquely designed piece was used for each course of the meal, and pieces were later sold to help support the project. I'd like to offer special thanks to Professor Stinson, and if she's here, I'd like for her to be recognized and stand. I'd like to thank her for taking the concept of community partnership and experiential learning to the next level, and we're grateful for Professor Stinson. This year, WASU, App State's radio station, celebrated its 50th anniversary, and more than 100 people came together to celebrate the milestone, including WASU alum from every decade. Caroline Beasley, CEO of Beasley Media Group, was the evening's featured speaker. And this summer, the Keller Radio Institute brought over 40 broadcasters to campus over a 10-day period. This institute gave students unprecedented access to industry leaders and insight into pioneering practices. Here's a picture of Dan Valley at the Institute with Sherry Lynch from the Bob and Sherry Show. And Dan, if you're in the audience, will you please allow us to recognize you? Thank you. During the spring semester, the Diversity Committee in the Department of Communication hosted its first fireside chat, moderated by Professor Carlos Montero. The chat addressed cultural, political, and social issues related to matters of diversity, equity, and anti-racism. I'd like to recognize Drs. Holman, Preston, Liu, Montalbano, and Professor Montero for the work and effort it took to put on such a powerful and enlightening event. Please stand and be recognized. But wait, there's more. There's so much more that you have done and we have done together. App TV News earned the 2021 Best of News Student Award from the All Community News Organization. And this summer, the Dean's Office worked in conjunction with the Office of International Education and Development to host a Mandela Fellow. Here you will see an interview taking place with our fellow, Crystal Bonzo from Zimbabwe. I'd like to recognize Kevin Wilson now. If you're in the audience, Kevin, will you stand and be recognized? you all may know, Kevin is the general manager of App TV, who not only operates a top-notch professional studio, but he also developed the idea for River Street Rundown, which will be a recurring interview series with me and notable students, faculty, alumni, and friends. So thank you, Kevin, for your leadership, your professionalism, and your creativity. Ashley Hahn was named a 2021 Fellow of the Lillian Lodge Copenhagen Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication, and Panorama returned for the first time since the pandemic began. This TED Talk style event featured our students, and it was a huge success for our college. Our military science and leadership students earned first and second place in the Mountain Man Memorial March competition. And in the top right-hand corner of this slide, you will see our all-female identifying team who took first place in the full marathon, full gear competition. Our ROTC Ranger team finished third out of 38 teams in the annual Ranger Challenge, which tests participants' military skills and physical endurance. And our Pershing Rifle team earned a number of distinctions and honors at the 2022 Pershing Rifle National Convention and John J. Pershing Memorial Drill Competition. Doctors Ignatov and Ignatova recently returned from Ghana, where they conducted field research on agriculture, food security, land rights, and more. They also taught a study abroad course while there. As a result of their work, they were recently awarded the University Partnership Initiative grant that will deepen a unique rural-to-rural partnership between App State and the University of Development Studies in Ghana. This summer, our university welcomed 30 veteran or military-dependent farmers from southeastern United States to participate in our Frontline to Farm program. This program was made possible by a $600,000 three-year grant from the USDA. And please join me in thanking Doctors Fanatico and Gibbard for their hard work and their dedication that it took to secure this grant. And also, Dr. Fanatico, thank you for your continuous support of our veteran population. Here you'll see STBE's Dr. O, who served as an advisor to the team on the screen that won second place in the 2021-2022 Department of Energy Solar District Cup. And our own Lenny Sink was recognized as being in an elite group of the top 2% of graduate students of the entire university by being selected for induction into the Cradis D. Williams Society of Outstanding Graduates. Dr. Ram Podal served as organizer for the International Conference on Thermodynamics 2.0, where natural and social science scholars came together to tackle challenging issues related to energy and economics. Our IDEX lab is a transdisciplinary, experiential learning and public partnership program where students receive credit for the commission, the plan, design, and the build of real projects for real clients. This lab makes a tangible difference in the high country by providing high quality, affordable, aesthetically pleasing, and functional buildings and build-outs for our friends and neighbors like the town of Burnsville, Cove Creek Elementary, and Yancey County. The Department of Theater and Dance presented plays written by Native American playwright Larissa Fasthorse and African American playwright Brandon Jacobs Jenkins, as well as dance pieces choreographed by both faculty and staff during its first full slate of post-pandemic programming and performances. The department also celebrated its 50th anniversary of the popular Appalachian Young People's Theater with a performance, reception, and reunion of former students and faculty. And this slide showcases the Spring Appalachian Dance Ensemble. Lori Atkins and Emily Daughtridge served as coordinators for this performance with assistance from our DA African Dance and Drum Ensemble. And will all members of this group please stand for recognition? Thank you. Will and Delana Vickers, class of 1987 and 1985, respectively, from our college were honored as distinguished alumni by the Appalachian Alumni Association at its awards gala. Will is Vice President of Industry Technology at Arch Mortgage Insurance Company, and Delana remains very active with WASU alumni events. Together, our iBack App Day was a large success for our college, and we raised $18,268. And speaking of funds, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize our College Development Officer, Laura Loffridge. Laura, please stand. Laura is a wonderful ambassador and friend to our college, and she goes above and beyond my expectations regularly to ensure that we all have the resources needed to maintain our status as a premier college on campus where excellence and innovation converge. Many of you may not know this because Laura's a very humble person, but last academic year alone, Laura raised $1.4 million for our college, and she broke a fundraising record. Laura also visited over 130 donors and prospects for our college last year alone, and we wouldn't be in the position that we're in right here and right now without the hard work of our friend and our college partner, Laura Loffridge. So thank you so much for all that you do. I would also like to read a little snippet of a note that I recently received from a parent. And it reads in part, I wanted to reach out to you as a parent of a son in your college. This is my 4th child to graduate from college, and I wanted to compliment your Associate Dean, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller served as my son's program advisor, and this person goes on to discuss some of the hardships her son faced throughout his time here at Appalachian State University. But she closes by saying, I just want to acknowledge Mr. Miller's level of support and belief in my son. He was always there for him, and I believe he was one of the most impactful reasons that he was successful in graduating. The world definitely needs more people like Mr. Miller, and I couldn't agree more. Jason, if you're in the building, please allow us to recognize you with applause. For those of you who know Jason, this note probably doesn't come as a surprise, but I want you to know that Jason, as the Associate Dean, our new Associate Dean, Mr. Chris Clayman, and Chris, will you stand so that everyone knows who you are and you can be recognized? And our entire office, we're here now and in the future to support you. And if you have an idea, an innovative idea that needs support, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of our leadership team, your department chair, one of the associate deans, myself, because we are future facing and our future looks really bright. And speaking of our future, I anticipate receiving news related to our budget asks, which were strategically tied to the university's bridge plan and also the areas of distinction that you identified as a faculty very soon. So I hope to have good news to share about that in the next 2 weeks. Our college has been empowered by the university to engage in our own uniquely designed and applied DEI efforts. So this is something that has been decentralized from a college level, placed or a university level, and placed back into the college. And I look forward to the work that we can do together and the movement that we can make together now that we're empowered as a college to lead that. And I'd like to take this moment to thank Professor Isla Prouty for her work in this area that has already taken place before we even convened here today. Isla, if you're here, will you please stand to be recognized? This year, we're also going to begin really strengthening a culture of acknowledgement and celebration. And that starts here today, because we all work hard. And we all deserve to be recognized for the work and accomplishments that we achieve. And that said, I know I haven't been able to honor everyone here that deserved honoring. I haven't been able to acknowledge everyone here who's done amazing work. It is just woven into the fabric of our college that we go above and beyond regularly. But what I do plan to do is to continue to acknowledge the work that's done here. I want to acknowledge the people who have made us who we are, so our emeritus faculty, and certainly our future, our young faculty. And I plan to also take a much more strategic approach to managing the college this year. Last year, it was my first year as dean, and I spent a lot of time learning. As I told you before I got here, I wanted to hit the ground learning. I spent a lot of time in the weeds getting to know each program, the people who make our programs great. And what I'd like to be able to do this year is take a more external-facing role and to be able to communicate our greatness to external audiences so that that turns into resources so that we can continue to do the amazing work that we do, but to do so in a fully resourced way. I also plan to make sure that you are aware of the happenings at a university and college level. So I will be putting out a blog regularly online with my thoughts, my ideas, and so you all are certainly welcome to take a look at our website. Our first blog post will come out at the end of the first week of classes. I guess the long and short of it is that our college is in excellent shape, and I want you to know that here today, and that your dean's office is fully staffed and prepared to support you as we continue to excel, as we continue to punch above our weight class. So we want you to continue to be the place that does differently, the place where excellence and innovation converge, and it's our job to support you in that vein. Many of you know by now that I end every meeting with an expression of gratitude, and today is no different. So allow me to express with absolute genuineness my appreciation for and to you. Thank you for welcoming me to this dynamic and impactful college, and for allowing me to bring my whole and authentic self to this leadership role. I've said it before and I'll continue to say this. I work for you and not vice versa. And it's my honor and privilege to do so. That said, I come to work every day with 3 goals in mind. Every day when I hit that door, there are 3 things on my mind. First is to be an inspirational leader for you. Second is to be a motivational role model for our students. And third is to be a relentless advocate for our college. Those are the top 3 things that are at the front of my mind every day. And those are the top 3 things that I leave work every night wondering, have I achieved something new in those areas? And as we continue to take on the task of rebuilding after COVID, I ask that you remember this year, I'm not infallible, I'm human, I have made mistakes, I will make mistakes, but I can promise you this, and I promise you this right here, right now on this stage, I won't make the same mistake twice. I will learn from mistakes, I'll learn from teachable moments, and I'll become a better leader because of those moments. I'm not infallible, but I am unflappable. I am steady, I am dependable, I am honest, But most importantly, I am unequivocal in my advocacy for you, the things that you do, the things that our college does together. I will never back down on being an advocate for our college, our home, our refuge. It's a special place where together we do differently. And so, as I said, I always end with a thought of gratitude, and I'd just like to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for your time, and thank you for making me a better leader.